This is a story about a young man with a monstrous spirit who tries to live a normal life with his grandfather. However, an incident causes him to lose control. The young man, who dearly loved his grandfather, plans to take revenge for his grandfather's death. The story begins with a helpless old man lying down, his body full of blood. In the same place, there is a young man who sees the old man's condition but is unable to do anything. Unexpectedly, the most beloved grandfather has passed away in a tragic condition. The young man's name is Jong. Jong is just stunned, and his tears are not coming out at all. Although his face showed sadness, it was anger and an aura of revenge that emerged from him. This is not without reason. His grandfather is the only family he has in this world. Jong and his grandfather have a very close relationship. Jong is often tasked by his grandfather to search for herbal remedies. One day, Jong told a story about finding a fox's den with a baby fox inside, but its mother was nowhere to be found. His grandfather asked, "Did you kill that baby fox?" Jong replied, "I have no reason to kill that baby fox. If I did, the mother fox would be sad if her child was killed." Upon hearing Jong's answer, his grandfather smiled proudly. However, his grandfather was still worried and asked Jong to promise that he would continue to hide his power and not show it to others. The scene shifts to the middle of the city. The city police have apprehended the criminals. The city residents jeer at the criminals and demand that they be sentenced to death. Meanwhile, a man feels curious as to why one of the trains used to transport the criminals is only occupied by one person. Unexpectedly, the train was occupied by Jong. With hands bound by chains and a body full of blood, there was a man who informed that the young man was a very dangerous criminal. Although his case was only murder, anyone who hears the story of his case would certainly be astonished. Many lives have been lost at the hands of that young man. The residents nicknamed him the Devil of the Sickle. The man who asked earlier was looking for a fearless young figure, and Jong was that figure. At the same time, Jong received a harsh reaction from the townspeople who pelted him with stones. All the residents shouted at Jong, calling him a devil's child. Even though Jong was pelted with stones until his head bled, he still did not give any reaction. The man earlier was very interested in Jong's figure. At night, when Jong was in the detention cell, it crossed Jong's mind that his actions were too rash and hasty. Without thinking about what would happen and without considering the enemy he was facing, Jong went berserk. However, he was stopped by a man with a scar on his face. When Jong managed to find his grandfather's killer, he was defeated thoroughly. Jong wondered if he needed to learn self-defense to fight against his grandfather's killer. Jong deeply regretted it, because he might not meet the killer again. Suddenly, thick smoke enveloped the entire detention cell. Jong smelled the aroma of a potion that made anyone who inhaled it fall asleep. Jong was unaffected because he had often consumed the potion when he lived with his grandfather. When all the prison guards were asleep, a man entered the detention cell. Jong, pretending to be asleep, immediately attacked the man who came. As Jong was preparing to escape, he was stopped with just a snap of a finger right behind his back. Jong instantly became stiff. Jong was very surprised as to why his body couldn't move. He saw the man in front of him, who at a glance resembled his grandfather's killer. However, there was no scar on his face. Then another man came to approach Jong. He asked his guard, "Is this the young man you were talking about?" The smell inside the cell made this young man very uncomfortable. However, the young man wanted to meet Jong in person. Then his guard leaned Jong against the wall. When he saw Jong's face, the young man laughed because his face and Jong's were very similar. The young master offered a position to Jong. Jong will become the third young master in the family of swordsmen, replacing the young master's position. The condition is very simple. Jong only needs to change his name to Mok Jong-woon. Jong just needs to stay at the young master's family residence. All of Jong's services and needs will be fulfilled there. If Jong agrees, then he must take a poisonous pill to be trusted. The antidote will be given after his task is completed. Hearing this, Jong agreed without thinking long. Young Master Mok Joeng asked his guard to open his shackles and the chains that bound him. Young Master Mok Jeong and his guard prepared to leave the prison cell. However, because the situation was not conducive, his guard asked the young master to stay behind. When his guard was already in front of the prison cell door, a somewhat strange sound was heard. When the guard looked back, it turned out that Jeong had broken the neck of young Master Mok Gyoeng Won. Jeong showed a terrifying face to guard Kam. The guard was confused about what to do when he returned, because the real young master had died. The story continues back to when Jeong was not yet caught, where an angry Jeong rampaged in the middle of the city with his sickle. He killed the victims whom he considered related to his grandfather's death. Jeong greatly enjoyed this slaughter, but he was also confused as to why he always smiled when seeing blood. Perhaps this is what Jeong's grandfather meant for Jeong to keep his true nature a secret from others. Jeong committed this violence mercilessly. Even though the victim had pleaded to be released, Jeong still ignored the person's words. Suddenly someone kicked Jeong. Jeong was thrown off, but immediately got up. The man who kicked Jeong was shocked by the physical strength that Jeong possessed, even though he was still young. However, a whisper in Jeong's ear told him that the man was very dangerous. The man already knew that Jeong couldn't defend himself, but he was confused as to why Jeong was still safe from his kick earlier. Jeong still couldn't believe that humans could move that fast. The man was very curious about Jeong, who had been following him until now. Jeong was mercilessly beaten and stabbed by that man. He deeply regretted his defeat, as he was easily defeated by the person who had killed his grandfather. When Kam's guard saw his master who had died at the hands of Jeong, he angrily strangled Jeong's neck. However, Jeong just smiled and held the hand of Kam's guard who was choking him. The guard felt a terrifying strength from Jeong. Then he asked if Jeong was not afraid of being killed by him. While laughing, Jeong revealed that if the guard wanted to kill him, he would have done so already. Therefore, Jeong thought that the guard wasn't truly loyal to young Master Mok Jeong Won. Jeong continued to smile, affirming that the guard needn't bother killing him because he had already taken the poison pill. So now, his life was entirely in the hands of the guard. Guard Kam smiled satisfactorily, having found someone so intriguing. Jeong laughed like a terrifying ghost. Finally, Guard Kam brought Jeong to the Mok family's location. He asked Jeong not to cause any trouble so that the Mok family wouldn't become suspicious. This was a condition for providing the antidote to Jeong. Jeong was extremely grateful for being given a chance at life after being stabbed by his grandfather's murderer. He was determined to learn self-defense skills while staying with the Mok family. During his time with the Mok family, Jeong was very happy. However, there was someone who made him uneasy, namely Guard Kam's subordinate named Go-chan. Go-chan was shocked when he was told the truth by Guard Kam. After learning the truth, Go-chan wanted to get rid of Jeong. Once upon a time, Go-chan thought that it was no longer necessary to guard Jeong. The reason was that Jeong had ingested poison and would surely obey all orders without doing anything unwanted. However, Guard Kam disagreed with Go-chan's action. Guard Kam knew that Jeong was not an ordinary person and had special abilities. Jeong wondered why young Master Mok Gyoeng Won needed a substitute. Jeong already knew about the betrayal from Guard Kam. When Jeong wanted to leave the room, he was stopped by Guard Go-chan. Go-chan did not give permission and threatened to hurt Jeong. Casually, Jeong replied that everything would be fine while giving a thin smile. Jeong's words offended Guard Go-chan and ordered Jeong to go back into the room. However, with his bravery, Jeong managed to knock down Guard Go-chan. Go-chan panicked because he had misjudged Jeong. Jeong then gave a touch that made Go-chan unable to move. Go-chan's guard was stunned and shocked because all the information provided by Guard Kam turned out to be false. It turns out that Jeong had been secretly learning martial arts. Guard Go-chan then told Jeong not to act foolishly if he wanted to get the antidote to the poison. Jeong was very grateful for being warned about the poison. Then Jeong bit his finger so that blood came out. After that, Jeong opened the guard's mouth and forced the guard to drink his blood. Go-chan's body immediately reacted to the poison. Then, Jeong revealed a secret that since childhood, he had consumed various poisons and herbal medicines. So, it can be concluded that the poison given by Mok Jeong did not affect him. Hearing this, the guard was very scared. He considered Zhang to be a very dangerous demon incarnation. The story then moved to the room of the Mok family head, who was in a critical condition. An old doctor had tried various methods and used various herbal medicines, but to no avail. The old man was very worried because there was no successor chosen to continue the throne of the clan leader. If this happened, there would be bloodshed among his children. At the same time, Mrs. Seok, who was the first wife of the clan leader, entered the room. She asked about her husband's condition. The doctor apologized because he could not do much in healing her husband. Seok was very dissatisfied with the doctor's answer and planned to use the services of a shaman. However, the doctor disagreed because he believed that shamans were followers of heretical sects. Seok's decision was firm because she did not want her husband to suffer from that mysterious disease. In fact, Seok had invited the shaman to her house. All the guards were ordered to guard the room door so that no one could enter the room. At the same time, Go Chen was telling about the current situation of Mok Sword Manor. After hearing the story, Zhang really wanted to meet Lord Mok Sword Manor. The plan of Guard Kam and Mok Gyoen was finally revealed, where they wanted the first son named Mok Yongho and the second son Mok Yunpyong to kill each other. Guard Kam and Mok Gyoen wanted to provoke them. If they had killed each other and no one lived according to the rules, then Mok Gyoen would ascend the throne. That's when Mok Gyoen came out of hiding. However, fate said otherwise. Mok Gyoen was killed by Zhang first. Zhang's fate is now in the hands of the clan leader. Zhang wanted to meet the clan leader but was forbidden by Go Chan, because the situation would become more complicated if it was known by Guard Kam. Meanwhile, Mrs. Seok is waiting for the arrival of a shaman named Shaman Mio Sin. Shaman Mio Sin is very famous for his magical powers. After the shaman arrived, he asked all the residents of the house to stay away from the main hall. Mrs. Seok has high hopes for this shaman to heal her husband. If this shaman succeeds in healing her husband, then Mrs. Seok will give a very large reward. When Mrs. Seok wanted to leave the main hall, she saw her fourth son named Mok Yuchun practicing. The fourth son often receives harsh treatment because his mother is a geisha or an entertainer. Mrs. Seok really dislikes Mok Yuchun. After Mrs. Seok left, Zhang came with Go Chan to the place where the fourth son was practicing. Go Chan introduced Zhang to the fourth son. Zhang, who can't do martial arts, considers Mok Yuchun's practice to be a waste of time. This was immediately refuted by Go Chan's bodyguard. Out of curiosity, Zhang wants to learn martial arts in order to defeat Kam's bodyguard. Hearing this, Go Chan is very surprised because Zhang's thinking is already very advanced. Because Go Chan already knew that sooner or later Kam's bodyguard wanted to kill Zhang, he then taught Zhang the basic techniques of martial arts. The basic technique of martial arts is breathing. To master this technique, it takes years of practice because it's impossible to master it in one day. Zhang looked at Go Chan's face, held his cheek and said that he wanted to gouge out Go Chan's eyeballs. But luckily, Zhang was just joking with his words. Zhang asked Go Chan to become a loyal subordinate to him. Go Chan informed that Mok Yuchun really hates Mok Gyoen, because Mok Guyen often referred to his mother, Mok Yuchun, as an entertainer. This made Mok Yuchun angry, and he beat up Mok Gyoen. Hearing that story, Zhang just laughed and said that Mok Dal is a good child for letting his brother stay alive. Meanwhile, the shaman Mu Xin was ready to start his ritual. The unconscious clan leader had a strange mark on his body. If the evil energy hits an ordinary person, it is certain that the person will die. This shows that the head of Mok Manor is a very tough person. The shaman has a premonition that the chances of the Mok Manor leader surviving are only 50%. He doesn't care if Mok Manor has to die during this treatment process. What the shaman is thinking about is only the very large reward. Then the shaman threw a talisman at one point, which is the source of where the evil energy came from, until a very strong reaction appeared. The shaman continuously recited mantras to neutralize the evil energy in Mok Manor. But the evil energy was so great that Shaman Miu Xin began to worry. Mok Manor began to show progress. He seemed to be opening his eyes. But in the midst of that treatment, someone entered the hall, causing the shaman's concentration to be divided. The evil energy, which had initially started to decrease, became strong again. Unexpectedly, The one who entered the hall was Zhong. Without hesitation, Zhong approached Mok Manor and paid his respects while smiling. Shaman Myo Shin continued his ritual, even though the one who came was the young master. Shaman Myo Shin appeared panicked and asked the young master to leave the hall. At the same time, Mok Manor's body floated into the air. In a situation with no other choice, the shaman asked for help from Zhong and guard Go Chin. Zhong and the guard promptly held the clan leader's body. Meanwhile, Shaman Myo Shin tried to ward off the evil force with his talisman. However, unexpectedly, the spirit possessing Mok Manor was very strong. Mok Manor carefully held Go Chin's hand, and the evil spirit began to transfer into Go Chin's body. Unexpectedly, Zhong, guided by his wild instinct, immediately cut off the clan leader's hand. Go Chin was shocked by Zhong's bold act, as the clan leader was highly respected. The spread of the evil power could be stopped, but it would require a great sacrifice. The hand of Chief Mok Manor must be cut off. Shaman Myo Shin was very afraid. His treatment had failed, and the thought of causing the clan leader to become disabled was unimaginable to him. With a heavy heart, Shaman Myo Shin prepared to leave. However, as if knowing the shaman's thoughts, Zhong immediately blocked his path with his sword. As it turns out, Zhong already knew the shaman's intentions and asked the shaman to reveal what was really happening. Finally, Shaman Myo Shin confessed everything. He was ordered by Lady Seok to incapacitate the clan leader with an evil spirit and seal it within the clan leader's body. Go Chin was greatly shocked upon hearing all of this and felt compelled to save the clan leader. He hoped that the throne of power would fall into the hands of the first young master, because he knew if the first young master led the clan, the fate of the other young masters would be threatened. Shaman Myo Shin pleaded for Zhong to stand down. However, Zhong insisted that the shaman release the evil spirit from within the clan leader's body. Fearing death and receiving nothing in return, the shaman finally agreed to Zhong's demand. As a first step, he took a wooden statue wrapped in a special thread and accompanied by a talisman, because if the clan chief's body was connected with the evil spirit once again, he might die. The wooden statue was a medium that was aligned with Lord Mok Manor's body to deceive the evil spirit. By using a ritual rope that connected the wooden statue with Lord Mok Manor, his preparations were complete. After reciting a strange mantra, the evil spirit suddenly began to react. The evil spirit asked who dared to summon it with the special ability of Shaman Myo Shin. With the power possessed by Shaman Myo Shin, the evil spirit was forced to speak according to what was in Lord Mok Manor's mind. He then asked about the location of the secret manual and seal, known only to the highest leader of the residence. The evil spirit immediately answered that its location was underground in the medical room, passing through the front stone door. Serious expressions appeared on the faces of Zhong and the shaman, as this was very valuable information. A few moments later, the evil spirit became increasingly uncontrollable and began to grip the wooden statue. The power of the evil spirit was too strong, to the point that the medium used by the shaman would not last long. If he continues to force it further, the evil spirit will be freed and cause a major problem. Shaman Myo Shin thought that even if he tried to explain it, the third young master or Zhong would surely accept his explanation. Therefore, the shaman decided to eliminate the young master, and he was certain that Lady Seok would definitely support him. Then, Shaman Myo Shin explained that the evil spirit had been successfully dealt with, and he would proceed with the next ritual. Because this was a very important secret, Go Chan's guard immediately went to guard the entrance without needing to be ordered by his master. Then, Shaman Myo Shin explained that the evil spirit had been successfully dealt with, and he would proceed with the next ritual. Because this was a very important secret, Go Chan's guard immediately went to guard the entrance without needing to be ordered by his master. Seeing this, Shaman Myo Shin laughed. He felt that this insolent young man had received a punishment from the gods. Although Shaman Myo Shin had often dealt with evil spirits, this evil spirit felt very different to him. Meanwhile, the evil spirit had entered Zhong's body. The spirit was furious because a human had tried to deceive it with a wooden statue. The evil spirit began to take over Zhong's body, and Zhong started to get trapped in his own mind. In this state, Zhang began to recall the places he had visited. However, Zhang felt something strange, as if there was an event that had been forgotten and he didn't know what it was. Despite his insistence on remembering it, when he returned, he saw a blaze at his residence. Worried about his grandfather, Zhang ran towards the source of the fire. Zhang was in a state of panic as he witnessed his grandfather's horrifying condition. Even though there was something missing from his memory, Zhang now understood one thing. His grandfather was someone very important to him. Amidst the chaos, the evil spirit appeared and tried to attack Zhang. His grandfather asked Zhang to stand up and help him. Zhang was just stunned, his expression of sadness clearly depicted. Without thinking, Zhang ran and hugged his grandfather tightly, not wanting to lose the figure who meant so much to him again. The evil spirit laughed, knowing both the beautiful and painful things about Zhang. This knowledge allowed it to fully take over Zhang's body in the real world, without any resistance. However, Zhang suddenly turned around and stared sharply at the creature. With a swift movement, Zhang grabbed the face of the evil spirit. The evil spirit was surprised, not expecting that a human could see it and remain unaffected by its magic. Zhang was very displeased with the evil spirit for acting as it pleased with his late grandfather. With a devil-like smile, Zhang told the evil spirit that it was wrong. Instead of reviving his late grandfather, Zhang preferred to see his grandfather torn apart. This is because Zhang preferred revenge, which increased his adrenaline. Upon hearing Zhang's words, the evil spirit decided to run away. Zhang didn't stand still. He chased the evil spirit with his scythe. Because the evil spirit was already under Zhang's subconscious, Zhang couldn't chase it. The evil spirit went too deep into Zhang's subconscious and found a vast green field. The evil spirit was surprised because in the middle of the vast green field, there was a door with a seal. It tried to open it. When it tried to open the door suddenly disappeared and immediately turned into black smoke. The black smoke bound the evil spirit, rendering it immobile and slowly consuming it. Sure enough, the evil spirit was consumed and subdued by Zhang. Zhang then woke up, which greatly surprised Shaman Miu Xin with Zhang's persona. Shaman Miu Xin didn't expect that the evil spirit had merged with Zhang. Even the figure of the evil spirit bowed down, as if it had become Zhang's subordinate.